No, I got it. They let me on my camera.
I think she told it. What's going on there, Amy?
Love that. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021 regular meeting of the Henry County School Board to order. If you will, or so led, will you rise and join us in reciting the Lord's Prayer and pledge? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and glory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you are seated, will you please join me in a moment of silence in the memory of Ms. Karen Prince and Ms. Shawana Scruggs. Thank you.
Superintendent, do you have any recognitions at this time?
Yes, actually we do. Tonight, we are honored to have present with us a very, very special teacher. You know, as we look across the district, we have a lot of special teachers, a lot of special folks that work hard and go the extra mile. And to win the Teacher of the Year is an absolute honor. This is something that is a culmination of a lot of hard work, experience, late nights, weekends, holidays, dragging your kids into the classroom to help decorate and do the things that have to be done. Everybody in this room knows exactly what I'm talking about and has done those things. This year, our Henry County, our Teacher of the Year is a teacher, a 5th grade teacher at Eastside Elementary School. Her work history actually started off as a paraprofessional.
True.
And from 2004 to 2010, and became a 6th grade teacher of ELA in 2011 and 2012, and 4th grade and 5th grade teacher at Eastside Elementary from 2012 to present. Got her Bachelor of Education from Florida Atlantic University and her Master's of Education from the American College of Education, and has a long, lengthy list of extracurricular activities and things that she leads, such as she's a team leader, 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, summer school coordinator, after school teacher, math club coordinator, Food for Children, SAC, CHS varsity assistant volleyball coach, HCEA rep, leadership team, leadership academy presenter, and good grief, it goes on. So how this person sleeps, I have no idea. One of the great accomplishments also is she has a great family. She has 2 sons that she drags all over the state and watches play baseball. And I was at a baseball, I was at a baseball game back in late summer. And I heard this person scream. I didn't even know she was there, but I heard this person screaming and raising Cain. And she was running and jumping, and this young kid on the other team had hit on the team behind us had hit a home run. And I said, God, that looks like Miss Mann. And it was. So we are honored to have Ms. Kristen Mann as our Henry County Teacher of the Year. She's here tonight, and would all of you please join me in a round of applause. Yeah. Miss Mann, would you please join us? Would y'all like to stand, if y'all, where y'all are, or would y'all like to come up front? What works for y'all? Yeah, probably. Probably so.
Yes. I know, that is very nice.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's a little warm in here. Yes, thank you. That's very nice.
So the plaque reads, honoring Kristen Mann, Henry County Teacher of the Year 2022. We congratulate you and thank you for your dedicated service to Henry County Schools. Henry County District School System, school board members, superintendent, and staff. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you. So I just got to turn. Thank you. Thank you.
As we, just as an FYI, as we go through the agenda, we love to have an audience. We love when people are here. But if you're here as one of Miss Mann's fan club, and you, and yeah, right, yeah, you're more than welcome to stay and listen and cheer and do everything we do. But if you would like to go, there's no reason for you to. You can please feel free to leave at your convenience.
All right, so we're going to head out. Support and love you all.
Bye, Miss Sarah.
Bye, guys.
Superintendent, you have a presentation on the agenda.
Absolutely. At the request of Board Member Semmerdyke, which we felt like was an absolutely wonderful opportunity for us to tout a lot of the great things that are happening. As educators, we're trained to educate. We're trained to put our noses down, work hard, plow through the trenches. We've never been trained to market. We've never been trained to do the PR work. That's sort of an outside realm of what we are in the business to do. But in today's society and where we are today, we have to market because parents have options, parents have choices. And so I thought that it was absolutely brilliant that Board Member Semmerdyke asked us to organize having the schools, have a school come to a meeting and give us a 3-minute overview of what they were wanting to go through. Just kidding, because Miss Principal Carter wanted like an hour and a half or something up there. But just kidding. But the theory and the thought process is we want the schools to come tout their wonderful accomplishments because we have leadership, we have teachers, and we have students that are doing things in our school systems that's second to none anywhere, and nobody knows about it outside of those walls. And so we want to make sure that as board members, they get to see it, as parents, and now the opportunity for the public to see what these schools are doing as well. So, with no further ado, Ms. Carter and team. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm so excited to do this because this year has been wild. And at Central, we are wild about learning. So at Central, we have a theme every year that we decorate the school with. We pick a theme to go along with our AVID program, as well as just the look on the kids' faces when they come in. They love to know what the theme is for our school. So this year it was Join Central on a safari searching for success. So these are some changes that have been made in the school and the staff over the past few years. It's not all this year. Location of classrooms so that our grade levels can be more together and not so spread out. Created a new vision and mission statement when we came on board a few years ago. Painting throughout the school hallways. If you've gone through the hallways in the past few years, before we were there, it was brown. And it was just kind of not cheerful and exciting. So now it's bright red, and we've done that, upgraded some, just the culture of the school has been updated. So we have pictures of our students throughout the year, we changed those. Our cafeteria has been updated, and it is absolutely beautiful, along with our front office in the past few years. This year we got the tables that are more like east side and west sides, where they can be used as a table for lunch or breakfast, as well as an auditorium style where you can flip the seats. So that's really exciting. And then just furniture for the classrooms for the students. My OCDs kicked in a little bit, and I did not like all the different mixed matching furniture and older furniture. So over the past few years, we've really worked to update that, and the kids notice it, and that's what's important. We have a science lab. We haven't been able to utilize our science lab as much as possible this year just due to COVID. And then we also use our resources, and we've relocated them in different areas just so that they're utilized better. And we've hired local residents of Hendry County that have come back to teach because they know what our schools are. They went through them. They know where our kids come from, and they make those relations. So that's been really important. For academically, data chats are important for our students. Our kids, if you pull them to the side and say, let me see your AVID binder and your data sheet, they can tell you where they are academically. Whether it's from diagnostic, benchmark testing, AR, their STAR level, we feel like they need to know that, as well as help set goals for themselves. So that's an important thing that we've integrated the past few years. Small group instruction. So we started this year, but our first COVID case came from a small group instruction, and that support staff infected different small groups. So that was shut down. But our small group instruction has gotten back into process in January. We looked at our data from Diagnostic 2, and we've had to make some changes because our data is not where we want it. So small group happens in every single classroom for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour every day with a support staff. We utilize a responsible thinking classroom. A student and a teacher do not deserve to have to deal with a student that is having problems all day long. You need a break, I need a break. This is a place where a student can feel comfortable, take their work with them, they're not missing any kind of work. There's a person in there to help them with their instruction, but it's just to give them kind of a timeout and talk through any problems or frustrations that they may be having. We have found this very successful in that student's not in there all day long. It's just used as a break room to get students back into the classroom and not frustrated. We do all kinds of AVID All-Stars and incentives for our students, for iReady, AR, and attendance. And then with all of the safety, we have had to change a lot of our different procedures, and we feel much more comfortable with those going through the year. These are just some of our higher expectations. Our leadership team, which is here today, we did not meet yesterday. This is their meeting today for this week, but they're very supportive. in all of the decisions that are made at Central. It's not, Ms. Carter makes all of the decisions, it's us as a family and a team, and I think that that's very important. There's some of them that were teachers when I was in school that are still there. And I think that's very important to help knowing the background of students. Ms. Morrell. All students are getting on grade level instruction. Just because a student is behind grade level doesn't mean that they don't deserve that on grade level instruction. We implement interventions during that small group time and during push and support time, but every student deserves online or on-level instruction, sorry. Teachers are turning in their data weekly to administration. That allows us to have those conversations of, you know, what's going on with these children, or this child is, what's going on, or your class is doing great job. But that's just important for us to keep that communication, not only with teachers, but teachers are also communicating with parents with their communication logs, as well as phone calls, class dojo, whatever they use. That's an important basis to build that relationship and trust between parents and staff. So this year, and I'm so excited because Mr. Swindle has put this as his expectations of us working on a countywide curriculum come this summer, as well as working cooperatively on pacing guides, which I think is very important because there's things at other schools that are working great and we're struggling in, or vice versa, and I think that collaboration is so important across the district, so especially coming into a new EL curriculum, or ELA curriculum. Avid strategies are incorporated, you're good, with all of our students, all the way down to kindergarten. They carry their binder home every afternoon, get it signed, use it, keep it organized, and use that throughout the day. And the big word of the year is flexibility. This has been a huge thing for not only administrators as ourselves, but our teachers and our students. It has been wild at Central with all the changes, but we have conquered those so far, and we're still fighting those every day of changing schedules or class sizes or how we're doing things, but the teachers and staff have gone above and beyond, and it's been amazing. So thank you to them, and thank you to our parents that have been so supportive. And thank you to our district leadership team, because without them and calling them and saying, what can I do with this, or what shouldn't I do, or how can I get away with this, they've been amazing. Not get away, but sorry. How can we rearrange this? That's what I should have said, sorry. Okay, so these are just programs that we use throughout the school year, but that's every school, so. Oh, no.
Oh, 10 minutes must be up.
No, it's not. The data's not there. So we were going through our data, and you may not have all of the numbers. Oh, here we go. Okay, so our goals for our school improvement plan, which you guys have already seen that, but something that's always worked is our student engagement and our small group instruction. Getting kids up and moving and learning, not just sitting in a seat the whole time, or using manipulatives and avid strategies to do that engagement. But that small group instruction is so important, and that is something that has changed throughout the year. It's not the same. For instance, this year our math data is nowhere where we want it to be. So we have had to go ahead and make those changes at January instead of March. So just being able to look at that data and make those decisions. The events for the year, they've been cut back so much. And that, to me, that is, I don't know, that's really sad for our kids and our parents, because they look forward to those things, as well as our staff. Those are our days we celebrate and have fun. But we have still managed to have quite a few, but just not to the extreme that we like to have them. So So things that we're excited about so far, the perception of security and culture of the school seems to still be there. You know, we've tried to do a few extra things to pep up the teachers, pep up the students, because it's a lot. It's a lot on them. And our school was an EdTech finalist school last year. Is that right?
Exceeding expectations.
Right, but am I saying that right, last year or 2 years ago? We got recognized February last year.
2 years ago. Yeah.
So we were supposed to go to Orlando and present different areas about our school to other rural schools, but that got canceled. So they're gonna move that to 2021, hopefully, October. So that was very exciting for our teachers and staff though. They came in with a panel of people and they talked to community members, students, which those answers and questions were fun. But it was fun, and it's a great award for our teachers and how much hard work they put in, and our students. Interventions for behavior and discipline have been effective, and 82% of our students are back at brick and mortar, so I think that's important. So this is our I'm Ready reading data. Can you go back? Sure. Sorry, it's easier to read on here. So you can see here our whole school data for our mid-year, our ELA, and this is over the past 3 years. So you can see that we're comparable to 2 years ago. When I look at this, I get really frustrated because I really think we could have had that 1% for our school to be an A last year, but we weren't able to test, looking at the data. So kudos to our teachers and our students, but we're trying to regain that. But you see that where our decrease in math is from 2 years ago. That's why we've had to make the decision of implementing more math strategies earlier on. I think that's a lot from them missing that last quarter last year. So, and this just goes through the data. Reading, you can keep going. So our science is another area where it's been very difficult to catch our students up and back in. Those students that were getting distance learning, they weren't getting the science as best as they needed to. So we pushed and pushed and pushed for our kids to come back. And so we're hoping that by the third diagnostic, it will look better. But we are pushing for our data, especially in 5th grade. Our students are hurting being on that distance learning. So we're ready for the governor to say everyone's back in school. So this is, we preach to our students they all can be successful. They may not all be proficient, but we can get them there and show the growth. We really are motivating them and incentivize them to always do their best. That's something that's said every morning on the announcements. Remember, always do your best every day. So there's Wild About CES, and then this is just a few pictures throughout the year of the kids, which is most important. And I don't know if it'll play. If not, I can send you guys the PowerPoint and you guys can.
That'd be great. Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
thank you, and thank you for all of your support through all this craziness of time.
So did y'all notice, board, a couple of times throughout that presentation, Ms. Carter alluded to kudos to the staff, because of the staff. And she's spot on. Without the great teachers and a whole pile of them sitting back there, none of this is possible. So great job to your entire staff and all the teachers. And that's what a good leader does, right? A good leader shows the appreciation and gives the credit where it's due. So Ms. Carter does a great job. We're very proud of Central. Thank y'all for coming in, and great job. Same goes for you guys. You're welcome to stay through the whole operation. Yeah, right.
That's charisma.
Yeah.
As we move forward to item 3, citizen comment on agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience here who wants to comment on agenda items? Okay, seeing no comments, we'll move forward to the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that any board member would like moved for further discussion under an action item or superintendent?
You all good?
Madam Chair, I did have one question about
Okay.
the Clifton and Larson.
Yes, sir?
It was just a quick question. I mean, I can ask it now. Or-
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify to make sure that that is only the internal account audit services. We're not servicing out anything. We're not contracting out anything else other than that one particular piece. Is that correct?
I don't see our, Ms. McCarty here. She's had a family death and she's dealing with some stuff there.
Okay. Well, I mean, that is the only thing that,
That is correct. There were some internal audit services and there was just a few of the things that were listed in there for outside of audit issues as well.
okay.
So, yes, I believe the thrust of that is the internal audit.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
That's right.
Yeah, because I know at one point she had mentioned something about doing a couple extra things, and
Right.
and I'm not for that.
Okay, fair enough.
So that was my only question. I just wanted to.
Okay. I do, and I would like to pull D from the agenda, and we will bring that back to you at the next meeting. D, yes, correct.
Okay, at this time, superintendent, do I have a recommendation?
I recommend you could approve the balance of the consent agenda.
I have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes unanimously. Moving forward to action items, I want to open up a hearing on the proposed policy revisions, policy 6114 and policy 6325 as advertised. Is there anybody tonight who wants to comment during this hearing? Seeing no comments on the floor, at this time I will close the hearing. Superintendent, do I have a recommendation?
Recommend approval of policy 6114 and 6325 as advertised.
I have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve policy 6114 and 6325 passes unanimously. Action item B, new personnel allocation request. Superintendent, do I have a recommendation?
I recommend you approve the new personnel allocation request.
Have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Action item B, new personnel allocation request, passes unanimously. Moving forward to board member business. Superintendent, you have a recommendation on item A.
Item A, I recommend that you approve item A to approve Jay Ammon, to retain Jay Ammon as your architect of record.
Thank you. I have a motion, or a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Action item A, addendum to proposal to provide architectural services, passes unanimously.
And to clarify that, that's just to make sure that we retain him as our architect on record. At your next board meeting, we will bring back some specific items that we will ask your approval on to allow him to engage in. So that'll be at the next meeting.
Awesome. Moving forward, we have LaBelle Administration Offices relocation. Superintendent, I don't know how you want to, is this an open discussion or do you need to take action on
Yes.
recommendation?
Yes, we do need to take action on recommendation, and I can go through this at whatever whatever the flavor of the board would like. Would you like me to go through all the options, or would you like to just hear the recommendation and move forward? I'll do it any way y'all would like. Okay. After reviewing all of the options that we had from purchasing outside properties and purchasing portable classrooms, we believe that today the best option to suit the needs of what our district is going to be will be for us to use the internal facilities that Henry County Schools currently possesses. The recommendation is going to consist of one of the pods at LaBelle Elementary School for Dr. Staley and the ESC staff, roughly 17 to 18 individuals. It'll take minor modifications with regard to some flooring with some false walls that had to be dropped in for offices, very minor type work to make that happen. The second part of that will be utilizing two of the portables at LaBelle Youth Development Academy at LYDA for IT offices and IT personnel. One of the portables is in great and perfect shape. The other one will take minor, a little bit of roof repair, a little bit of floor repair, perhaps some flooring, but overall, relatively inexpensive way to get the IT there. The other part of IT, we would like to utilize the two just straight through this yard. We have part of the building here at CYDA that we would like to move our data center to. Our data center now is currently located in our courthouse facility, and we would like to relocate that here to this facility. And in doing so, we're going to widen the bandwidth and increase the connectivity so that it will give our students greater access and our schools greater access for data in, data out, online learning, distance learning. You know, God forbid we have to shut down and everybody go back. Our ability to serve students will be at a greater capacity. And I'll readdress, I'll come back and finish up with that one again. And then the only other facility that we would need would be for the admin of Ms. Thompson and myself, and then HR. And we believe that we can make a perfect home, temporary home at the LaBelle Outreach Center. It's been utilized since 2017 by the school board for adult ed and migrant education and a few other offices there. We believe that we can do some minor personnel shifting of locations and have our admin office and HR headquarters there with minor repairs which have to be done one way or the other, just some flooring and stuff like that. So out of pocket, all the expenses we believe are going to be roughly in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, with the exception of the IT data processing center. That one is going to be a little bit more costly. In the total cost of that, and we're still kind of fleshing through because it kind of depends on a multitude of different items that have to be done there. But we're looking at anywhere between $175,000 to the low $200,000 range to totally move it and equip the IT data center to where it needs to be equipped today. We do know that we have some ESSER funds, which are the COVID relief funds that was made a district to the school district. We're going to do everything we can to justify expenses of the IT data move from those funds. Expanding the bandwidth, the connectivity, and those type things are absolutely servicing students in the event that we have to go back to distance learning. So we know that those will be permissible. There will be some expenses that are not permissible, such as some of the capital improvements that would have to be made. That may be adding an AC unit. That may be adding a very specialized fire suppression system. We believe that we will be able to tackle those out of our regular maintenance budget. We may not be able to tackle them all at once. So if we have to spread them out over a year or 2 years or 3 years, we're willing to do that. We currently don't have a backup generator. So if we have to push that out a year, then we will push it out a year. At this point in time, we don't believe at this recommendation that we will have to come back and ask you to dip into reserve funds to make this move happen. So that will be our recommendation, knowing full well that the intent is for this to be a temporary move, depending upon some of the plans that go forward with Mr. Ammon's architectural services that we hire, how we can move forward with perhaps rebuilding a said school within the district and then allowing us to use that said school to move into once students have vacated it. And so we're hoping, although that won't be a quick fix, that'll take several years for that to happen. And so we believe that today this would be the best investment of our resources and our funds to best suit the needs of the district, students, teachers, and parents, and with the best outlook going forward, so to better utilize the services and facilities that we have. Are there any questions?
Mr. Superintendent,
Yes, sir.
the only question, and I didn't think of it earlier, was, I think we talked about it a little bit, you and I personally. We moved the data room and all that out here, that one will not relocate again.
That's correct.
At all.
That's correct. That's the purpose of moving in here. That'll be a permanent home with the world-class facility, with the connectivity, with fire suppression, with backup generation, and the intent will be to not move it ever.
Everything else will be the kind of permanent,
That's correct.
temporary pieces, except
Yes,
for
sir.
that one permanent
Right.
piece.
Good clarification. Thank you.
Just wanted to make darn sure that I wasn't missing that.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's correct. Anything else? Okay. Well,
I don't have a question as much as a comment. I reached out to the county administration and was talking about what their plans for the courthouse are going forward. And so she let me know that that hasn't actually been decided, that we are looking at, the county commission they don't even have an architect, they haven't made any plans, they haven't decided what's going to be in that footprint. And so I asked, is it still a possibility for us to remain in whole or in part in that footprint, just because I feel like it's so important if that's your governmental complex to have the, school board representation there and or school district representation there. And she said, that hadn't been decided, but that's absolutely a possibility. So, that's something that, I think, like the superintendent's recommendation tonight, I think is very prudent because it takes into that consideration of, we may not have to build something and take over a school for administration office. There may be a possibility for terms to go back to the courthouse after renovation. And so that was just a comment there, but I want to, applaud the superintendent's recommendation tonight to, do what's fiscally in the best interest of the district with his recommendation. Is there any further comments or questions on his recommendation? Okay, so we have the recommendation. We have the motion in second. I can't even remember.
Made.
No. Yes,
So
okay.
moved.
All right, motion. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Mr.
Make the
Sammerdyke?
motion.
Amanda is
Accept
on the
his
second.
recommendation.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Superintendent's recommendation in regards to LaBelle Administration Office's relocation passes unanimously.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then Superintendent, did you want to issue the reminder?
Yes, absolutely. Item C, under board member business, the Employee of the Year Luncheon is next Thursday in the workforce room in the building next door. These are the folks that, at the end of the day, we just couldn't hold school without them. We have to get our kids to school and home safely. We have everything from cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodians, maintenance workers, and these are some very, very crucial folks that make our schools open and close safely every day. And this is going to be their Employee of the Year luncheon, and so if any of you can make it, we would love to have you there. They love to see the administrative support, and so please plan to be there. It's at noon, being catered by the Staghorn Restaurant, a new restaurant in town. Some good stuff. Yep. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. So if you can make it, we would love to have you. And I only have, any questions about that? I only have one more thing. If you want me to finish my board member business, I'll go ahead and do it.
Lead us on.
Yeah, I'll just do
Lead
it.
off.
So, and I want to take this opportunity to, over the last 60 days, as we reorganize our school district and we put folks into the places, believe it or not, I think we have them all filled and we have the changes made and the people shuffled around and we're ready to start moving our district forward. As of yesterday, I wanted to make sure and point out that we have Miss Tressa Duncan with us. And Ms. Duncan comes to us from Lee County Schools with an unbelievably impressive resume, with an unbelievably tenacious spirit that she's ready to help move elementary schools in Henry County to a new level, and that's going to be her task. So she's the Director of Elementary Education, and we've already kind of started to saddle her up with a lot of heavy responsibilities, and we're ready to see good things happen. And of course, y'all know Mr. Sanchez is now Director of Secondary Education. That they're sitting next to each other. Glad to see that. They're going to be working together a lot and collaborating on ways that how do you bring 6 elementary schools together and get them on the same page, and how do you go across the district and get 2 high schools to think, in the same direction of driving up school and student achievement. So I believe that this is going to be one of those moves that pay us great dividends in the very near future. So I'm excited to work with both of them. I'm excited to see the great things happen. So welcome, Ms. Duncan, and thank you, Mr. Sanchez. And earlier, Ms. Gibson didn't stay, but Ms. Gibson, that was here earlier, is now the principal at Eastside Elementary School, and Ms. Sarah Sanchez is principal at Westside. So we believe we've got an all-star stacked team of folks that are ready to make some great wins on behalf of Henry County Schools. So thank you for the latitude of making those changes and hires, and looking forward to the future. Thank you. That'll be all for me.
Thank you, Superintendent. Board Member Brown, do you have anything for under Board Member business?
I just like to recognize the fact that our superintendent doing an awesome job. I've been sitting here a long time, and I've seen many of them. He's the first one I've seen to get elected and then kicked out of office at the same time. but he has handled it very well. And I appreciate all the efforts y'all put forward, finding things, finding places to go. But I'm very impressive, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Board Member Sammerday.
Yes. One of the goals that I had when I came on the board was our vocational training programs for our students. Very important to me. I think we do a really fine job with our high academic students, with our collegiate programming, our dual enrollment programming, and so forth. But my concern was that. So I had a meeting with Mr. Swindle last week, and he gave me a personal tour of some of our vocational training here in Lewiston. And the first lab we went to was the welding lab. I'm very impressed with our welding lab. Brand new, state-of-the-art sort of, and anybody who goes through that program, so I was talking to the instructor, and anybody who goes through our program, he can assure that they can get employment. And it'll be a good paying job. If they have the interest and want to complete that program, that's great. From there, we went to the heating and air conditioning program. And that heating and air conditioning program, you don't have to live in Florida very long to know the needs of heating and air conditioning technicians. A lot of great employment opportunities for those students too. So from there, we went to the hydraulic mechanics lab, which is in the same building. And I was so impressed with the technology levels there. I looked at some of those training programs in labs, and they were way beyond any expectation I had. They had gauges and motors, and it's just a phenomenal training program that those kids are going to have such high levels of training if they complete that program, that they are certainly going to be able to be employed and at a very good pace. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Swindle for that program. Next week, I'm going to meet with Mr. Luchtenhaus, and we're going to look at some of the training programs in LaBelle. But I just wanted to share that with our other board members and the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Basquith.
I just want to say I'm glad that there's a fellow vocation fellow on the board with us as well. I know our superintendent is near and dear to his heart also, and that I'm glad to see some changes in the transparency levels at the district right now, the way things are going. I'm excited to see what the future holds for us.
Thank you.
Well, I think the fellows said everything I wanted to say pretty much, but I echo and I agree. I thank you for the communication and transparency. It is very pleasurable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Nelson. And I do have something that I wanted to share, and I wanted to give praise and kudos where it's genuinely deserved. And so I had an opportunity this week to sit down with our ESE department. And as you know, ESE is an area that is near and dear to my heart. And as most of you know on this board, it has been something that I have been willing to fight for, and even in the most unconventional methods, to bring forth change. And you know, as in this role, it's very limiting, but it takes a partnership and somebody who is willing to acknowledge that the challenges and put systems in place to prevent the issues of the past from reoccurring. And I'll tell you, when I conferenced with Dr. Staley and Ms. Durrance, I was not honestly expecting what was rolled out. And it was a system. I'm a systems person. I love a system. It's my professional love language. But it is an amazing system that they have had to put a tremendous amount of work in to ensure an equitable system where kids are evaluated and then that they're given quality services and quality accommodations, and that it's monitored, and it's a catch net for them to prevent them from falling through the cracks. And you know, everybody I think at this point knows that I don't give out discount compliments, and I just think that it's amazing what she has done to remedy the issue. And it's something that's going to help every school and every kid, and I acknowledge her work. It's hard work, it's not glorious work, it's heavy lifting, and she did it, and it is something to be praised, and I'm grateful for that work that has been done, because it was something that you took nothing, you took a mess, and you created order in a system, and that is it was a tremendous accomplishment. And so, and with that, it was able to close out and satisfy the state complaint. And it's remarkable. And if you guys, I mean, to me, it's important enough to have a whole entire presentation on it, or if you just want to meet, face to face with Staley, but it's phenomenal. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. And I know there's a tremendous amount of students and families in our district that's going to benefit from your work and thoughtful effort. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Dr. Staley.
All right. So I'm right behind the glasses with you. So if there is not any further comment from the board, this meeting is adjourned.
Great meeting.